one of the people asked, I think, a girl a question, and then she said Daniel. I was like, oh, okay, let's actually hear it. And bro, I was praying to the Lord's ahead that the coin would land on heads. It landed heads. And you know what the question was? Obviously, in the last video, we were discussing about the concept of dating and being rigged and how men don't know how to go outside and touch some grass, right? And we discussed briefly about...
Can you just add men and women, but come on, carry on.
Okay, I'm gonna be that guy and say... I'm gonna say... No. Okay. I'm gonna say that... I'm gonna be that guy and say men are the approachers, women are the ones that are approached. And if you think otherwise, I got nothing for you. Anyway, moving on. So I went obviously over a short method of like conversation, but I didn't actually go in depth as to how I conversated. Now, first of all, one of the big things that you need to realize is that with conversations, the only way that you're gonna get better at them is by trying and by up many times you're going to make mistakes within taking your conversation skills. But guess what, my friend, my child, it is all part of the plan, the great plan of you becoming a great conversationalist. So how does it work? What is this secret method that I'm trying to discuss? Actually, it's very simple. So essentially, it requires a bit of an analytical mind. When the other person speaks, you need to pay attention to what they say and pay attention to the words, and your next sentence, whatever that may be, needs to be linked to a certain word, whichever one you want, that the other person said, right? So all it really boils down to is that if you say something, if you right now, Dennis, if you tell me something, I will try to analyze your sentence and build the next sentence based on a word within the sentence that you said, right? So say something to me right now that I have some sort of material to work with.
Damn, it sure is hot in here, ain't it?
Being like, oh, what even nerds.
You know what? I do remember the temperature being so hot. Like when I was in Tenerife, bro, it was September and it was boiling. September, mind you.
Damn, yeah, it is quite down south, isn't it? Because it's down south, it must be hotter there.
That is true. Speaking of south, we were actually in the south coast of Tenerife when we were there. If you remember that. That was a nice holiday.
Oh, damn, yeah. Honestly, I'm very bad with geography in Tenerife. I have no idea what is where. Can you remind me a little bit?
Yep, so it was in the coast of Adeje. And it was down southwest, basically near the sea.
I guess that makes sense to you, but not to me. That was a stupid thing to ask of my part.
Anyway, the point being is that I was able to carry on that conversation simply because I was trying to listen to, okay, let me pick something from what he says and then try to continue that train of thought. So long as you're not talking to an NPC, you should absolutely be able to keep this conversation forever. And I'm gonna be honest, if I hear people saying some like, but I cannot, how do you call it? Every single time that people speak to me, they don't say anything. Okay, so then why would you be interested in speaking to people that are bots?
So now, first of all, I have a couple of things to say. One, the improv technique of okay and is great.
The reason why I really like this technique of just utilizing what the other person said is because it's not reliant on a plan. Not really. All you really need, the only thing, this is why it's so key, the only thing you need is an icebreaker. That's it. Once the icebreaker is done, it's easy rolling after that, and you can keep that conversation forever. And now let's get into more in-depth details about the conversation. When do you know to end it? Generally, my technique, and not even my technique,
I don't know that. I don't know that. I don't know how to end things.
yeah, I know. This is like every single time. You know what? An episode that's supposed to be 12 minutes turns into a 20 minutes because I just can't stop you from talking. It's a struggle.
Man, at least I give you content for you to edit, so no worries, it's good.
Yeah, you give me 20 minutes worth of editing. I don't know if I want to go through that much. Allora. Anyway, continuing. So, what I was saying is that the reason it works so well is because so long as you're not talking to some bot, you're always going to be able to keep that conversation talking. When do you know how to end it? It really depends. So first off, are you enjoying the conversation? If the answer is yes, keep it going. As far as I can tell, if you're just enjoying it. But if you're not, try to find the easiest way to like get out. And how you get out, it's very simple. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be somewhere right now, so I gotta go. Have a nice day. That's it. That's really how you exit the conversation. It's really not that difficult. You just gotta...
What if you sound rude?
Okay, you're probably not gonna see this person ever again. Tough. And honestly, that thing of I gotta be somewhere else, that might not be a lie, that might be a genuine truth. And the other person, again, they don't really think of you as a liar, as unless you've not f***ed something up, you have given them a fairly good impression of yourself. So their head should not go to the worst case scenario of, oh, this guy's just trying to lie to get out of the conversation. They'd be like, oh, this guy's really busy. He must be doing something really interesting. So, but that is, again, encompassing on you actually giving a good impression first. So beyond, like, at that stage, that's you doing it. I can't handhold you at that point, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
So
I have another question, because you're the expert here in talking. You actually read a few books about it, whereas I'm just like, let me throw myself into the sea and learn how to swim.
You know
so
what
if actually nothing? Yeah. What if nothing actually comes to mind? Say, for example, in my example, oh, it's very hot in here. What if nothing comes to mind? Like, how do I find things to relate to what the person just said?
But the thing is that you should, again, that sentence, it is very hot here. Hot, that word is literally the key word that you could translate. You could think of anything that is connected to hot. It doesn't, and this is the other thing that people really need to understand. It doesn't need to make too much sense. It can be some dumb shit. And actually, matter of fact, this is some crazy stuff. It was the dumb things that I said that sometimes would make a better impression of me than the quote-unquote smart ones. It is when I say that dumb thing that makes so much more, that works so much better. Go on, why?
Do you know why? Because they're funny and people love to have a laugh. And again, just keep in mind, they're not having a laugh off you. They're having a laugh with you.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that people should not be afraid to engage in. Like, just let them have a laugh. It's fine. They're not laughing at you or off you. They're having some fun with you in the context of what's happening right now. Like, don't take it personally.
Actually, I have a perfect example of that. And I remember I was on a field trip with like a lot of students, and I remember that me and all these people, we were playing a game. We were essentially sat in a circle, and the person to your right is going to whisper you a question that involves someone within that circle. And then the person to your left, so basically the person to your right asks you, and then you have to say the name of someone within that circle. And then a coin's flipped. If the coin lands heads, the question is said out loud. If the coin lands tails, the question is not said, and we move on to the next person. So I remember this. This was very interesting. So one of the people asked, I think, a girl a question, and then she said Daniel. I was like, oh, okay, let's actually hear it. And bro, I was praying to the Lords ahead that the coin would land on heads. It landed heads. And you know what the question was? Who do you think is the most arrogant person in this circle? Now, peep game. Peep game. At that moment, I could have been offended. I could have been like, what do you mean you don't even know me? Do you know what I said instead? I'm like, yeah, fair enough, I am arrogant. You know what? It is how it is. I'll take it. And that's the perfect way to, in my opinion, that is literally the best response, because people don't expect that. People expect that you're gonna get offended when you're called arrogant. But if you actually just take it and be like, yep, that's me, they actually like that, because like, oh, someone that is unapologetic. He just is how he is. And if people call him arrogant, that doesn't faze him. That is so critical. That is probably the best response, because if you get offended, that's the worst response. Easily.
You know, I mean, probably, or you like, could, again, yeah, go for it, sorry.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is that you could get offended, but make it in a funny way, and that, I guess, is still a better response.
Exactly,
in my opinion, the best one is actually to just take it, I think.
Me, because I'm a Libra. I take offense in everything.
I can't escape this shit anywhere I go again.
For those who don't know, Daniel and the zodiac signs are two twins, like two friends so close, they love each other so much.
Very much so.
The point was, because I am me, a Libra amongst all the things, I would have said, me arrogant? No. And just carried on. Like, that, I don't know, I would have a laugh at someone trying to offend me if that would have been the intention. But it
exactly, but that's how you're supposed.
Like
that's how you're supposed to take. That is how you're supposed to take it. Whenever comments are made towards you, you're not supposed to take them seriously. That's the best way to do it. And if you're able to spin it in some way that makes you witty, like you did, for example, that is the best. That is probably the best way to go. I still think my take is pretty good, but either way, it goes. If all you need to do is just not be offended, that's the surefire way to just clap it completely and people to get a really bad impression from that. Oh, that is the one thing, getting out of the conversation. There's also another trick. So obviously if you don't enjoy the conversation, get out. But then the other real tricky thing is actually exiting the conversation at the peak of the conversation. So when you guys are enjoying the conversation the most, that's when you're like, oh, actually I gotta go, but it's been a really nice conversation. See you again. Because then you've left them with the let me listen to me and let me tell you why this is actually genius. Because you've left them with a really good impression, and every single time they're gonna remember you, they're gonna remember that last impression, right?
Yes.
That's why it's genius. Just trust me on this one. It works.
Listen, as a strategy, I'm gonna trust you on it. I just know that personally I would not do it myself because I like to keep things natural, to see where things lead me. If we stay there and continue talking, then we stay there and continue talking. If we don't, I'm
just trying to teach my disciples Riz. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to teach them Riz.
Fine. Yeah, I'm just saying that another approach would be to just keep things natural. Like, if you still feel like you want to have the other person's company, then just say that you don't have to leave just to leave them a good impression. Because the way I see it is that if it's a new person, I'm probably never going to see them again. I don't really care. I just like to live in the moment and see where this conversation brings me. Might as well have them know me better. I don't see any way around it. And if by knowing me better they realize, you know what, you're not the person that I thought you are, I'm so disappointed in you believing that climate change is
Hello, cancel, abort the mission, abort, stop.
You're gonna have to bleep the whole bit of me. But if it's something that really disappoints them in me, I'm gonna be like, sure, fine, okay, we're not friends. Well, best of luck in life, have a good one, take care, see you around. You know what I mean?
And this is why you're single. I'm joking, I think I need to cut. Alright. In any case, I think we've covered all the aspects, and genuinely beyond all these like menial things of how you're supposed to carry the conversation, how you're supposed to transition, so on and so forth, I think the rest, it just boils down to actually getting out there and touching some grass. That's the last step that I can say. Right?
The best way to learn something is to do it.
Exactly. The master has failed more times than the student has ever attempted. Like, comment, subscribe.
Oh, I love that saying. Yes, I love that saying. Maybe just don't attempt learning how to fly an airplane whilst not having ever tried to learn.
Why do you have to always destroy?
Two more things to say. That's all. Wait.
Okay.
Stories. I loved the fact that you brought up a story when I asked something like, oh, it's very hot in here. Oh, yes. Do you know where else it was hot? Ooh, in Tenerife. Ooh.
Yeah, but like that is literally the key to how to transition these things.
That is one of the best techniques to just bring something meaningful that you found interesting in your life and just bring it forward. Show something that you found interesting. Maybe someone else will find it too. And that's something that I love. Like, that's a great technique.
I know.
Everyone should know it. And one last point from my side. It's better to sound weird than monotone. Nobody wants to have someone who has no...
That is actually so factual. That is so facts. So facts.
Do you know what's one of the best accents in English? The Irish, because they keep dancing up and down about everything that they say, and I just love it, man. Of course, I butcher it right now because I'm not Irish. But
I just think you're biased.
True. I love redheads. What can I say?
Exactly. There you go. That's enough. Cut the tape.